Beneath the rolling hills of ancient Ohio lie the echoes of a people long gone. The Adena, or the Adena Culture, was a society that shaped Earth into towering mounds and earthworks, and they left behind mysterious symbols of their existence. Yet, a riddle remains in their quiet tombs and carved artifacts. Could it be that this forgotten civilization of Ohio and the Ohio River Valley, known only through the shadows it left behind, was not as isolated as we once believed? Today, we dare to ask, could the Adena, nestled in what is now the American Midwest, have shared a thread of knowledge, belief, or art with the grand and enigmatic Maya of Mesoamerica? What if these two worlds, separated by thousands of miles and vast cultural divides, were somehow united by ideas, shared across the centuries through symbols, artifacts, and rituals? In the hands of the Adena craftsman, a very unique pipe was carved, not in the familiar shapes of typical Adena pipes such as animal effigies, but this one was different. It was in human form. It was a human effigy, strikingly similar to a Mayan god depicted in Mayan art. Also nearby, the Cincinnati tablets, engraved with geometric patterns, seem to echo the glyphs and designs of the Maya as well. These two artifacts, both found in Ohio, raise very profound questions, challenging us to look beyond borders and timelines to consider the possibility of a connection, a bridge across the ancient Americas. So let us journey together back into the mists of prehistory and unravel the mystery of the Adena and the Maya. For in their relics lies a story that just may rewrite our understanding of the ancient world and of ancient America, and the remarkable links that may have united civilizations abroad. Let us now turn our gaze to the artifacts themselves, the silent witnesses to a time long past. Among the most extraordinary of these relics is the Adena pipe. The Adena pipe was carved with exceptional skill from the soft sacred stone known as pipestone. This pipe bears a striking human form. Unlike the more common representations of bird and animals, this figure in this pipe seems almost to transcend the earthly realm, embodying something more profound and more otherworldly. And in its design, one cannot help but notice the echoes of other distant lands. This artifact, discovered beside the remains of an individual buried deep within an Adena mound, is a testament to the artistry and spiritual depth of the Adena people. But it is not simply the pipe's form that commands our attention. It is its striking resemblance to Mayan art crafted in a time and place thousands of miles apart. What are we to make of this connection? A mere coincidence? Or could it be that the Adena, like the Maya, were not isolated but part of a greater cultural continuum, a web of shared traditions and practices that spanned the breadth of the Americas? As we examine the Adena pipe, we are drawn to its symbolic significance. The hole extending through the figure's head suggests a ritualistic purpose, perhaps to channel the spirits or to bridge the divide between the living and the dead. Such ideas are not unfamiliar to the Mayan civilization, whose ceremonial objects often carried similar spiritual meanings. The possibility that these cultures, so far removed by geography and time, might have shared such profound symbolism is both fascinating and perplexing. I also want to remind you, while taking a look at this pipe, the Adena pipe, this is the only known human effigy pipe ever created by the Adena culture. There have been many other Adena pipes found, all in either effigy of animals or just pipes simply serving a functional purpose with no effigy at all. But with this being an extreme rarity, being the only human effigy pipe ever found that correlates to the Adena culture or ever found in the Ohio River Valley, I think it's safe to assume that this pipe was a trade item of sorts, very possibly between the Mayan civilization directly or another tribe and or culture that was in contact with the Mayan civilization directly. Because look at this striking resemblance of a stone statue found in the Mayan civilization, both dating back to roughly the same times, that being the Adena pipe and this statue in the Mayan civilization. And from my research, this appears to be a sacrament to the god of maize in Mayan culture, otherwise known as Hun Hunahpu. Here's a few different side-by-side pictures for you to look at comparing the two. The Adena pipe is but one artifact in a larger puzzle across the Ohio Valley. In places like Cincinnati, we find another striking enigma and another striking artifact, the Cincinnati tablets. These carved stones adorned with intricate geometric patterns appear to echo the design language of the Mayan civilization. Their purpose, like the pipe, remains a mystery. Yet, the similarities in form and structure are impossible to ignore. Could these tablets be evidence of a cultural exchange or perhaps a shared ancestry of ideas stretching across vast distances in time? In the coming moments, we will delve deeper into these remarkable artifacts and explore what they might reveal about the connections between the Adena culture and the Mayan civilization. Could it be that the Adena, like their Mayan counterparts, were not merely survivors of their time, but part of an ancient network of influence and interaction, possibly connected by some sort of shamanic religion? The answers may lie hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to uncover the remarkable links between these two extraordinary civilizations. The design motifs found in these tablets are not just ornamental, they are strikingly geometric, echoing the stylized forms used by the Maya to record history, to tell stories, and to communicate their understanding of the world as they knew it. The notion of a shared visual language, perhaps carried by traders, travelers, or even migrants, offers a tantalizing glimpse into the possibility of cross-cultural exchange. What could these designs have meant to the people who carved them? Could they have held significance beyond mere decoration, perhaps bearing sacred or spiritual meanings, just as the Mayan glyphs did? Some scholars argue that the Maya and their advanced civilization may have influenced distant cultures through trade, through migration, or through the transmission of ideas via religion. Yet to suggest that the Adena culture were in direct contact with the Mayan civilization may be a bit too far, maybe a step too far. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, in the subtle currents of shared knowledge that passed through the Americas like an unseen river, its waters nourishing and shaping civilizations in ways we have yet to fully understand. Yet the question persists. If such connections did exist, how exactly did they manifest? Could the Adena culture, whose culture flourished in the Ohio Valley around 1000 BC to roughly 200 AD, have been aware of the Maya civilization, whose civilization was flourishing in the southern reaches of Mesoamerica at the same exact time? While it is impossible to say with certainty, the uncanny similarities in symbolism, craftsmanship, and ritual suggests that the idea of a distant yet real link between these two cultures is absolutely worth considering. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes not only from the artifacts themselves, but from the very landscape in which they were found. The Ohio River Valley, with its fertile soils and strategic positioning, was home to a people who had the means and the motivation to connect with distant lands. Trade routes crisscrossed the region, and artifacts from far-flung places such as the Great Lakes and the Gulf of Mexico have been uncovered in Adena burial mounds. This, combined with the striking similarities in art, could suggest that the Adena culture were not such an isolated people, but part of a broader network of interaction stretching across ancient America. In the end, it may not be a direct link between the Adena culture and the Maya civilization that we uncover, but rather the recognition of a shared cultural heritage, one that transcends borders, one that binds the ancient world in a way we are only beginning to understand. Alas, the question remains, did the Adena and the quiet sacred hills of Ohio trade not just goods, but ideas with a civilization so distant yet strangely akin? One might dismiss the idea as fanciful, a mere flight of imagination, but if we are to discard every mystery to close our minds to the possible, we must ask, what then of the Adena pipe? This singular artifact, more than any other, beckons us to consider the possibility, nay, the probability of connections forged not by happenstance, but by deliberate, even sacred exchange. What if this pipe was not simply a curious object, but a messenger, bearing the very spirit of an ancient pact between distant peoples? A bridge across time, a connection spanning oceans of history. Could it be as the Maya revered Hun Hunapao, so too did the Adena revere a similar force, the god of maize? This reverence is one that transcends the boundaries of their own world and reaches quiet yet forcefully into the heart of another. It is a question that for now remains unanswered, but the silence of the past speaks, and we must listen. For the truth of an ancient world lies not only in what we find, but in what we dare to ask. The Adena and the Maya may stand as two separate pillars of time, but the story they offer is not bound by their names or their lands. It is a story written in the whispers of stones, in the echoes of pipes, and in the sacred symbols that transcend all of time. It is a tale that remains to be fully told if we are brave enough to seek it.